Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to talk today about North Korea abducting Japanese citizens, and it's pretty sick and sadistic what they've done, but North Korea has admitted to abducting at least 13 Japanese citizens. They've admitted to 13. However, they could have abducted at least 100, possibly more. And Megumi Yokota was the poster child for abductions. The abductions, she was abducted on November 15th, 1977 from Niigata Prefecture. Niigata is a coastal town in Japan, and she was abducted from Niigata. She was walking home from middle school, from badminton practice, and she was abducted. She was only about 240 meters, 820 feet from her home. That's very sick and sadistic. North Korean agents abducted Japanese citizens to get Japanese citizens to teach North Korean spies Japanese language and culture. So these North Korean agents could pose as Japanese citizens, but not necessarily bomb Japanese targets, bomb South Korean targets. That's what happened when Kim Yun-hee and her accomplice Kim Sung-il blew up Korean Airlines Flight 858. They were killing South Koreans, not Japanese citizens. They posed as Japanese tourists, as Japanese, with Japanese passports, as Japanese father and daughter. Very sick and sadistic. Kim Yun-hee's a changed person now. She wrote the book Tears of My Soul. And she said at first she thought North Korea did right by abducting Japanese citizens, but she said now, no. She said yes, no, Japan colonized Korea, which they shouldn't have done, but she did not believe it was right for North Korea to abduct Japanese citizens. Actually, before Megumi Yokota, there was a security guard. He was abducted 185 miles northwest of Tokyo in the Ishikawa Prefecture. But a lot of the Japanese citizens before Megumi Yokota, they were such ordinary Japanese people, common people. North Korea did that so the Japanese press would not catch on. And North Korea did not just abduct Japanese citizens from Japan. They abducted them from England as well. Keiko Aramoto was abducted from England in 1983. She was offered a fictitious marketing research job, and she was abducted to North Korea. North Korean agents tricked her, and she was on a working holiday visa in London, England. And Keiko Aramoto married another guy who was abducted from Europe. He was a Japanese citizen as well. He was abducted, and they married in North Korea. And this man, Mr. Ishioka was his name, and he was from Hokkaido, and he was able to send a letter to his mother in Hokkaido and say he was fine, but he had been kidnapped by North Korea, that he's in North Korea. It was such a bizarre situation that when Megumi Yokota disappeared, some Japanese tabloid newspapers started saying that she was abducted by UFOs. Very sad situation. Now, Megumi Yokota's mom, Saki Yokota, she converted to Christianity years after her daughter was abducted. She was visited by a missionary, Reverend McDaniel. He's from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He originally came to Japan as a soldier, a U.S. soldier, but he became a missionary. And Miss Yokota found her hope through Christianity. And she became a born-again Christian through all this. And she wrote a book called North Korea Kidnapped My Daughter, and it's a really good book. It goes into detail with the abduction situation. Also, in July 1978, Yasushi Chamura and Fukie Hamamoto, they were on a romantic date. Their car, when the police found their car was still running. Keys were still in the ignition, but they were gone. They were abducted and sent to North Korea. They eventually made their way back to Japan thanks to some diplomatic negotiations, and they're living in Japan now. But that also happened with another couple. They were on a romantic date in another prefecture, and they were kidnapped, sent to North Korea. They eventually made their way back to Japan as well. But there are several unaccounted for abductees that were still there. Example, the North Korean authorities said Megumi Yokota hung herself in a mental health facility, but North Korea sent Japan Megumi's remains, but the Japanese lab had it tested, and the DNA testings on those remains did not belong to Megumi Yokota. So many people believe Megumi Yokota is still alive. Also, former North Korean agent An Myung-jin, he defected to South Korea. He said Megumi Yokota was put in a small container aboard a ship, and she was wailing and screaming for her mother the whole way from Japan to North Korea. Megumi was only 13 years old at the time. She had nothing to do with Japan's occupation of Korea. Very sick and sadistic with what North Korea did. And there needs to be awareness on the abductions issue, and it needs to be raised. So I encourage people to read North Korea Kidnapped My Daughter by Saki Yokota, Megumi Yokota's mother. It's a very good book and discusses in details the abductions accounts. Yasushi Chomura, his father, he was glad to see his son return and his daughter-in-law, but at the same time, he says he doesn't feel any joy because he wishes all the families had their children back. Sick and sadistic. So anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Take care. God bless, and bye-bye. Bye-bye.